We're supposed to have Professor Mark Akumba, who just messaged us that he has issues with his car on his way and therefore will not be able to make it. And we also await the arrival of Doom Emmanuel. But here in the studio we have Nick Anu. Nick Anu, happy Sunday and thanks for joining us.
Happy Sunday to you, Mr. Tah Mai, and thanks for having me. Also, happy Sunday to televiewers all over the globe, and happy Sunday to fellow Cameronians, and happy Sunday to especially Barrister Ernest Fondang in Boya, and happy Sunday to all our fellow listeners and watchers of House of Common. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Happy Sunday. Here in the studio, we also will be talking about, the topic is bad roads and also epileptic electricity. What is with billions being voted yearly, where does the money go to? You can participate in the program. Either you send us an SMS or you call us to give us a contribution. If you actually have electricity in your area, which of the problems are you facing in your area? Is it bad road, or is it electricity, or is it poor hospitals? You can call us on the number on your screen, 676431384. I begin with you, Nick. Let us look at the issue about but before then, let me acknowledge those who are watching on different social media platform. We are talking about Nkata Sonny watching us from the United Arab Emirates, Fendi Bill watching us from Germany, and also they say happy Sunday to you guys watching us on Facebook. So you can also leave your comment. We will also read your comment. As far as today's topic is concerned, you can participate on the numbers on your screen. Which of them are you experiencing? Is it bad road? Is it epileptic electricity, or is it also the issue of infrastructures or hospitals? Nick, we are looking at the fact that the parliament budgets that are currently being voted in the different ministries, and billions of CFA are being voted. So far, the major main problem, our main question we are talking about here is, where does Cameroon money go to with the numerous voting of budget yearly?
Majority of it goes to the pocket of private individuals. That's short and simple as that, because if money is being budgeted for particular projects, at the end of the day we don't see the realization of these projects. We see most of the projects being abandoned, and it just goes to say...
Just a minute. Hello? Yes. Where are you calling us from? Are you getting us? Sorry, yeah, you were saying that most goes to the private pockets of individuals.
Obviously, that can only be the obvious answer, because if money is budgeted for a particular project, at the end of the day, we should see the realization of that particular project. What we see in Cameroon is just somehow the opposite, because it has become so much like a game where projects are poorly done, but they are well budgeted, they are poorly done and executed, and then at the end of the day, you see that these projects don't last. Maybe within a year, they are already bad. That the following year, they will still need a budget again for that particular project, and so on and so forth. So this has been occurring for so long, and it has so much become like the culture, our own culture, which is something very bad and something to be condemned, because it's giving us a poor, even as much as we have a very poor public management perception, it is not something that is good for any economy or any country. Any country cannot move forward with that kind of attitude. We have such leaders who exhibit that kind of behavior. There's no way you can go anywhere. If you look at it every day, you see that the consequences are falling on the common man every day. Bad roads here and there within the city. You cannot boast of a good road in Douala that you can ride for maybe 5 minutes without slowing down to pass a pothole, and so on and so forth. So these kind of things will keep decrying them every day. It is something that's very bad, and it is done by people who are wicked. And I keep saying wicked people, because it is not like these people don't know what is good to do. They actually know, because most of them go out there, they go for holidays out of the country or into countries that are well developed, or that are well lead, or that are well managed, and they see magnificent projects in those countries, and those countries are not even as rich as we are, and all we can say and conclude is that it is just out of wickedness that these guys do these things. It is not out of ignorance. It is not even out, because wickedness is the highest level of sin. Because there are things that can be tolerated, but there's a level of wickedness that can never be tolerated, even beyond this life. And that is the attitude that most of our leaders are exhibiting. If you steal something, a money that's meant for a particular project, let's take for example the Yaoundé-Douala Express Road that was announced more than 10 years ago. And today, that particular road was done halfway. And they have project that has been done. The budget that was earmarked for the whole project, just the half project that has been done, the budget has surpassed the initial earmarked budget for that to complete that road. And you can just be asking yourself that what is wrong with our leaders who were in charge with.
It's the same thing we experienced with the Olympic Stadium, man.
Yes, with the Olympic Stadium.
Because the money that was actually allocated, more money was also allocated. Later allocated.
Yeah, and the project is still yet not finished. It was supposed to be a complex, not even a stadium. At the end of the day, they have maybe coerced us to talk only about the focus on the stadium where football is being played. Meanwhile, the initial conception of the project was supposed to be a multi-sport complex. And so, if you can begin to ask yourself that what is really wrong with us? Why is it that we are wicked to our own selves, to our own people? Because if you make a country to be fine and everybody is fine, you'll be fine also as a leader. Because having the attitude that you're supposed to be the only one who is fine, having the attitude of an almighty where you're the only one who has money and so that other people should worship you, this kind of thing, you can never have peace even beyond this life. Because what most of our leaders fail to understand is that life doesn't end only on earth. Whatever you do in this world is going to follow you up to eternity. And most of them fall short of this perception of life after death, and they tend to do things the way, or do things as if everything ends here, of which it is not the case. There is no way you can embezzle money that's meant to construct roads and people die every day of accident. Of course, the blood of those people is in your head, and you cannot say that you can die and have peace, having embezzled their money and kept. Maybe you even die and leave that money,
okay,
and so on and so forth.
Good day, sir, and happy Christmas in advance. Happy Christmas to you too. I am enjoying your program. I am writing for Bamenda, precisely Momo Division. The worst year is poor roads, electricity, and water, and poor quality of network, and that is what we experienced in Momo Division. And this sender did not actually write us to give us the name. Please, when you send us message, let us know where you are texting us from. You can also call to tell us which of the problems you are facing in your municipality or in your neighborhood. Is it bad road? Is it epileptic electricity? Or is it also infrastructure at the level of hospital? This one say, good afternoon, sir. I am writing from Manfi. I want to say that we have problems of bad road and electricity in some villages around, and I think that so far we want to thank the government for the construction of the Manfe Road leading to from Kumba Manfe Road. However, we need other sectors to be developed as far as this nation is concerned. In as much as we know that much is being done for the development of our country, we believe that a lot of people still siphon the money and put in their private pocket. This is Lucas writing from Manfe. And now we have this other message coming in from Boya. It says, happy Sunday, sir. As we speak, to have electricity in Boya, it takes a miracle for electricity to be stable for 24 hours. Either you have it within 8 hours, it goes and comes out after 4 hours, it goes and comes out after 3 hours. I think that this is an issue which should be looked into. This all right, it says happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I'm enjoying the program. I think that we have a rough melange of all in my municipality, and thank you though you did not let us know where your municipality is. Those of you who are sending us your message, please do where to sign your message. Let us know where you are writing us from, who are you, and also where you are writing us from, so that we can properly acknowledge you. This one says, a good day. It is funny how most people don't know what is budget. They confuse it for available money. Budget is an anticipated money to cover an expense. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is available, so it can turn out surplus or deficit. With the current economic situation in Cameroon, which is practically failed which is practically failed we are usually working on deficit. Please try to make sure and let others know budget is not money at hand. Of course, what you must understand, Gray, is that when we are talking about budget, we know that budget is a financial statement that shows government revenue and government expenditure within the next financial year. We are looking at the aspect of the budget which are also being voted, and some of the money are disbursed. Now let us assume that a budget is supposed to be for 2 billion, which says that there will be a construction of road. The road, actually money is borrowed to construct that road, and at the end of the day, where does that money go to, so that we can meet up with the budget that was actually allocated in anticipation? You talked about the issue of deficit, that most of our country, most of our budget we run in deficit. We have asked the question in terms of looking at the budgets that are voted. When they are voted, actually there's disbursement of some money, because once a budget is voted, loans are taken to make sure that this budget are actually being catered for and received, and loans paid back. So we are talking about the revenue and expenditure. We know we have the balanced budget, we know we have the budget surplus, and we know we have the deficit. And the budget surplus is when the government anticipates that we'll spend 1 billion in the construction of roads, Kumba, Manfe Road, and in return, as told, get money that we shall receive from that road within that year, it shall be about 3 billion, and that is a surplus. The question we are asking is, the little money that is even borrowed despite the voting of the budget to cater for, where does the money go to? That's what we are asking. And also, Nick, you talked about the fact that most of this money goes into the hands of private individual, but many will argue that, let me just take on this other on that message. This one is poor roads is our main problem. More than half of the state budget is diverted to private use. This is due to weak control of public finance from audit bench and other institutions. Jude writing from Bangam. I agree with you on that. This one says the budget voted for those in key positions to swindle and be thanking the head of state 1 million times a day. Even those who pretend to be big wigs or special elite are very dangerous to the nation. Paul writing from DOP. This oral writes, he says, good afternoon, Jarvis. I'm writing from Maninguba division. It is really a call for concern to us here in Maninguba. The people can go months without electricity. There is no road, not to even talk of farm to market roads, even existing in Maninguba. This is Collins writing from Maninguba. Let us know what problems you're facing in your municipality. Is it poor road, electricity, and epileptic electricity, and also the issue of hospitals? But before then, Nick, I want us to react on this. There's an ongoing congress between members of the MRC party is currently organizing their convention in Yaoundé, and they're in D2. I want us to watch this. They will come out and give a brief reaction as far as that is concerned, and what impact will it be as far as developing Cameroon and also preparing for 2025 is concerned. those are live images coming from Yaoundé as the day 2 of the Cameroon's Renaissance Movement Party continue with their convention in Yaoundé. Nick, when you look at the population, could that be an indication that something is cooking?
Yeah, it is a massive turnover. It is something to appreciate. It's not easy to organize a political rally like that and then you have that massive turnout. And all we're saying is that it is high time they do more of a political amalgamation. That's they should work on coalition, joining forces with other opposition parties, and so that they can form a united, strong front, and then to face the ruling party in power. We know the political landscape in Cameroon. We know election in Cameroon. We know the intricacies surrounding elections in Cameroon, and in as much as it is something that we're building our political landscape. It is something. It will not be something that will just be perfect. It's something that will undergo a transition from generation to generation. But it is important to build the groundwork and move forward. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the political actors that are there, what they fail to understand is that most of the time they're building political ideologies around themselves. When you build a political party, it should be an ideology that revolves with time, that anybody can come and fit in there. It should not just be a political ideology around an individual. Like we saw the failure of the SDF due to that. The ideology of the party was be around the chairman and so on and so forth. The MRC is making the same error, building the political ideology of that party around Professor Maurice Kamto, which to me is wrong. You build an open political ideology. If you go to Europe and study their political parties, see those political parties have lived for 100 years, 200 years. They were not built on individuals. They were built just open ideologies that anybody can come and fit in. When you build a political ideology around an individual, it tends to fail. When that person passes away, the steam tends to die, as was witnessing with the SDF today. So political actors in Cameroon, especially political parties, we mean those who are serious. We don't mean mushroom political parties that are formed within palace and just to galvanize some catch from the ruling party and then to make noise and think that they're political parties. We know the government like to play this kind of game to make noise that there's political liberation or liberalization in Cameroon, that anybody can form a political party. I think there should be a lot of stringent rules implemented when forming a political party. It shouldn't be this issue of people forming political parties, which it is wrong. It is a kind of disgrace to us, to our political culture. It is not correct to be like that. And come 2025, we saw the issue of I think it was a PCRN I think they were trying to have a rally also in Kribi. Was it in Kribi? And then it was banned or something. We don't expect the government to be doing this kind of thing at this time. The government should be able to allow free and fair political meditation in the country. Should allow people to meditate in parties that they deem it necessary, and they should make the political space to be open for everybody to come and play, and then the rules should be the same. We expect also the ruling party to hold their own rally, because it has been so many years where the CPDM also held their own rally to choose their own leaders. We expect this kind of transparency to be open and so on, and not just declaring somebody a natural leader or natural candidate of a party.
Good day, sir. I am Stanley, writing from Limbe. One worst thing we are facing in Limbe now is that roads are now places where people host their occasions, marriage and death celebration, and even birthday, and this obstruct transportation. I think that is a major issue, Stanley, not just you, especially here in the nation. I think that will be a topic that
is very common in Douala.
That will be a topic for maybe for another day, because it's very common where you see busy roads are used instead. Horse are not being used. People tend to use roads to host their event. This one, right? Good morning, sir. Poor roads, epileptic, electricity, and poor medical infrastructure are the main problem in Bamenda. We don't know if we have been forgotten. Yeah, it is Basil writing from Bamenda. This other one, right? It says, good afternoon to you guys in the studio. Our leaders do not have a vision, careless about the well-being of the citizens. On going to the field, no check and balance. I wish His Excellency Aijo was still the president of this country. This is Edwin writing from Fumbot. This other right, he says, happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I think the issue about epileptic electricity is because we don't do checks and balance within this country. We have good policies, but since they are not followed up and the countries keep languishing in this way that we see. Thank you very much. You did not sign your message. This one, right, it says, happy Sunday, House of Commons. Cameroon is experiencing dashed republic, which is doing one and the same thing and expecting different results. We have been made to believe in Cameroon that the rich minority are the real citizens, while the minorities are slaves in their own country. If I want to list the problems in my area, it will clearly show that our administrators are the real dash in their art of legislation at administration and law enforcement, which does not in any way favor the citizen. In my municipality, poor management of waste, epileptic and poor supply of epileptic electricity, poor supply of electricity, bad roads, and dilapidated schools, insecurity at high gear. But our self-centered administrators will tell you everything is okay because they have got good cars, standby generator, so it is good. Writing from Tole, Jodene Ekane. Okay, this other right. Please, you can also call us to let us know which problem you are facing in your municipality, so that we can actually know what problem you are facing in your municipality. This other right, it says, happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. My major problem we have in our municipality is the issue of electricity. Our villages in some parts in Bongair have been without electricity for quite some long time. They are now blaming it on the issue of the voices in the bushes. But before the voices in the bushes, we were having this problem of electricity. Nothing has changed, so we beg on the government to see how they can help us have electricity in some parts of our villages in Bonge subdivision. This is someone writing from Bonge. You talked about the fact that money is going to private hands, but there have been issues where the government has actually noted that some of this money which are embezzled, this person are placed in Kundengi, because we've had a lot of time when those who have embezzled state funds are placed in Kundengi.
My problem is not catching people and placing in Kundengi. The issue should be making it difficult for people to steal. You cannot allow somebody to steal or embezzle money for long, and then you come at the end of the day and arrest the person. And at the end of the day, we don't even see the money being recovered. We see some of these high-profile ministers involved in this being released. We saw with one-time minister, we don't want to mention names here, being released, and it was said that he paid part of the money. And we kept asking the question where was the rest of the money, and so on and so forth. So all this kind of thing is not supposed, it doesn't happen in a normal country. In a normal country, you have to make it very difficult for people to steal money. Make it very difficult for people to have cash. The issue is that many of our ministers have a lot of access to cash, and to me, there's they don't put so much emphasis on the check and balances or the control. We don't know the work of the Supreme State Audit, because I think this is an organ that is supposed to control most of how our budget is being spent and they are supposed to be proactive. Most of the time we think that they are just reactive, or they tend to react when the damage has been done, and they tend to maybe arrest people. You're supposed to be proactive, because to the best of my knowledge, I know when the budget is drawn and at the end of the day the president signed it into law to become the finance law for next year, the money is not just being disbursed to people automatically. I think as from the 1st of January, income, national revenues begins to be collected, and by the end of March, it is they call the first quarter, where money expenditure is being disbursed for projects to take on, and so on and so forth. So most of these, the work of the Supreme State, they are supposed to control and make sure that money being earmarked for particular projects, they make sure that this money is used to the judicious end, and not just allow people to do it anyhow and so on and so forth. And when they do this kind of thing, they give us the impression that we are not in a normal country.
When you say we are not in a normal country, what do you mean?
In a normal country, everything is supposed to be transparent, everything, the public management of our money, because it is not the money of ministers, it is our money, it is taxpayers' money. Our money is supposed to be managed in a transparent way, but we don't tend to see that. We tend to have the impression that we are being managed and ruled like a secret society, where you don't have any right to know what is being done, of which it is your money. You don't even have any right to know why this particular thing is being done this way, and so on and so forth. The only thing that is supposed to be sacred in a country is the security of that nation, where the government holds exclusive right to that, and even though it will give them that right and the power to protect us also. And so that things that are within a nation or within a state classified as sacred for the safety of that state. But things that pertain to general interest, like construction of road, there should not be anything sacred about that. That's providing social amenities for us should not be anything sacred. Constructing good hospitals should not be something sacred. Constructing good roads for us is not supposed to be something sacred. This is what we expect, the minimum that we expect our leaders to do. Give us good road, give us electricity, give us good hospitals, and give us good schools. As basic as that, that's what we really need as individuals to happily live in our country. If we have all of this, you will not see most Cameronians leaving the country every day. If you study the net migration of Cameronians every day, you see that it is on a rise every day. If you want to know, go to the passport centers every day. These places are jam-packed every day. And you begin to ask yourself whether Cameroon is a war where everybody is trying to run away. And this kind of thing is due to a failure of leadership. Bad leadership is the cause of all of these things, because you cannot stop people from moving. People are going to countries where they are well led, countries where the rights of citizens is respected, countries where their budget is well implemented, their projects are earmarked and finished. And you cannot be telling them to be patriotic, meanwhile you the leaders are not first of all patriotic. This kind of thing begin to breed the attitude that maybe people begin to feel like they don't belong to their own country.
You are giving the impression as though we also don't have people coming into Cameroon. We have foreigners here, but foreigners who also come to Cameroon because of greener pasture.
You should be asking yourself what kind of foreigners that are coming to Cameroon.
We have foreigners at different level. We have foreigners at different level, from African countries to different countries.
Yeah, from African countries, maybe neighboring countries, they come around, they do business. In as much as everybody have a right to live in any country or any part of the world, we're talking particularly about Cameronians who are living their country every day, despite the abundant blessings that God have bestowed on us. And they have the impression that they don't, their rights are not protected. It is only in Cameroon where a foreigner can lock a Cameroonian up, and you don't see that cannot happen in other countries, even neighboring countries.
So even if the Cameronian goes against the law should not hold him responsible.
Not that the law should not hold him accountable, but we tend to see most of our leaders, they are being influenced. A foreigner can give money to maybe our leaders or whoever, our security forces, and you just pick up like that and lock up, and then it is money that speaks.
Okay,
that's what we are saying.
Good afternoon, Raymond Rudney from Yaoundé, right? Good afternoon to you in the studio, and happy Sunday. Incompetency is the problem of Cameroon. Awarding contracts to politically motivated people. Camtel was about being privatized, if not of the president, if not President Biya blocked it. What is the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication doing with all the budget given to the ministry that they can't upgrade the lone state-owned telecommunication company? The road from Bikoko to Nchang is a mess. The road from Bikoko to Nchang is a mess. Billions are voted every year, yet we can't see any output. Most of our leaders are embezzlers and go around thanking the head of state. To be honest, most ministers saying President Paul Biya should run for 2025 election is who intends to keep stealing from the state and praise the head of state, because I don't know how in 91 year the world is advancing infrastructurally, health, economy, and many more. Yet Cameroon is going backward. Rodney, writing from Yaoundé. Please, when you write us, don't insult. That's why I censor the message. You can pass your message without calling people names and without insulting them. So when I censor the message, it's because, excuse me, it's because it was actually rude in terms of the words used. This one writing from Tiko Mwanimu Bisong. Good morning, Jarvis and co. I have always said that Cameroon's biggest problem is the death of patriotism. Patriotism has been killed, and in such a state, greed, avarice, and the quest for wealth takes center stage. Much to that, the determining of national growth. That is the status quo in Cameroon. The best way to bail ourselves out from this quagmire is presidential and regime change. No more, no less. Wanimu writing from Tiku. Let's look at this issue about the issue of road network in Cameroon. There have been visible improvement in some parts of the road network, though many are yet to experience some changes in some part. Let's look at the southwest region in particular. The road to Boya has a problem. Let's look at the west region. The road from Suza right up to Banga and the rest is terrible. Let's look at also some parts of the northwest region. Let's now also look at Douala in itself. Who is charged with taking care of this, and where does this money go to? Because Douala can be able to sustain itself with the companies that pay these taxes.
Obviously. Our first problem is a structural problem, because if the issue of road is center only at the ministries, I think the city councils are just in charge of. I think they have with this new decentralization law, they have right to do some construction of road within their municipalities, but the subdivisional council don't have such right. Like we come to Douala, only the city council have the right to construct road. That's why you see roads maybe in Douala 5, they are bad. If the city council don't come to work there, the mayor of Douala 5 will not touch it and say it's the responsibility of the city council. So most of these things are structural problems. The structural nature of the state is supposed to be that a municipality should be able to maybe walk roads within their municipality and tar road, and they have budget, and that can be able to cater for roads and other social amenities within their municipality. And so we can see maybe put by the blame on the government, because the decentralization law says that 15% of the budget, now the national budget, is supposed to be given to the local councils or the subdivisional council, but we don't see this being transferred by the ministries. But we see them hear songs every day saying that to tie a road in Yakwata, he has to go through Yaoundé before coming back. All of these things will keep happening every day, because along the way, either the file will get missing or the money will get missing, and so on. And at the end of the day, the projects will not be realized. in a country where in Cameroon we have a Ministry of Planning
and
Regional Development. We don't see so much work being done by this.
First, we have the Minister of Public Work.
Yes, public work.
Public work.
Yeah.
We have now Minister of Planning. And Regional Development.
Yes.
We have Minister of Decentralization.
Yeah, decentralization.
We have a Minister of Housing.
And urban Development.
Urban Development. Now,
yes.
Look at all these. We still have plethora of issues.
Yes, and all
there
these
are 4 ministries.
4 ministries to solve our problem.
Basically, cut across.
Yes. And they're supposed to solve our problem of roads, problem of urban disorder.
We have not talk about Minister of Transport, eh?
Not to talk about Minister of Transport. Yes, because we know the transport will give reports to Public Works that roads are bad. Public Works talks to the person of decentralization that maybe this will one concern a ministry. But why don't we? It's like they don't work in synergy. That's what we are noticing. They don't work in synergy. Actually, it's as if every minister, once they're appointed, they will claim that the appointment comes from the presidency, and so they don't take orders from anybody. We don't see most of them even respecting or following the orders of the prime minister. And because the prime minister is supposed to give a roadmap for how these ministries are supposed to work, there's no interministerial communication to me. They don't so much communicate on what to do. Maybe you see them communicating when there's a disaster. You see them coming together. But we expect ministries to work in coordination and tackle problems and provide solutions before they happen. But we don't see that in Cameroon happening. We see ministers being so reactive, not being proactive, so reactive when situations happen. And in a poor country like Cameroon, we're not supposed to be having all these so many ministries in charge of doing one and the same thing. You're supposed to have just one ministry in charge of that, and then you have ministerial departments, or you have different units or different committees in those ministries in charge of all of these things. At the end of the day, you see them defending budget. The Ministry of Public Work is one of the ministries that take the highest part of the budget. I think this year I'm hearing Ministry of Secondary Education. I don't know how. We are still waiting for the finance law to be signed so that we can have a detail of why the Ministry of Secondary Education should be having one of the highest budget.
About 80 billion.
Yeah. No, they're having about 500 billion.
500 billion.
Yes, this year. And
I think it's Minada is talking about 80 billion.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we see teachers on strike. Even up to now, schools they see OTS. Most of the teachers are still on strike now, and even though they will say the ministry, because I don't know, the Ministry of Secondary Education is not in charge of payment of teachers. It is the Ministry of Finance that pay teachers. So we don't know why they should have this huge amount of budget. Our problem is, in a country we expect to see at the end of the year ministers coming to give an account of how the budget they defended last year was used, whether they had a budget deficit or a budget surplus. I don't know if you as a journalist have ever been opportune to have this information, whether in Cameroon our budget is ever balanced or our budget is ever a deficit or surplus. We always see at the end in November ministers coming to defend their budget, and then it continues like that in a circle. In a normal country, those kind of things don't happen.
Good afternoon, panelists of My Media Prime. I salute your effort you are doing for this great nation to keep us informed through your program, Mr. Jarvis. My worry is about how security officers treat fellow Cameronians, especially the gendarmeries. When you are convoked, you must bail yourself for 25,000 francs CFA. And above all, you people would have acquired the highest echelon in the academic kingdom. Is it a presidential decree that you must give those officers 500 francs before you pass at their control post? Note that most Cameronians have been crying under the rain. Nobody can even notice their tears. Valley writing from Limbe. This other one, right, it says, Happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. I think I like the program, but my greatest worry is the fact that most Cameronians are the ones causing the problems to Cameronians. For example, those who are ministers, are they not Cameronians? Those who also are contractors, are they not Cameronians? They will give them work to construct roads, yet they will take the money and construct and do a bad job, and yet we will have to blame the head of state. So to me, Mr. Jarvis, the problem is that Cameronians themselves are part of the problem, and thus should be part of the solution come 2035, 2025 rather, not 35. Okay, let us please, when you are calling us, be civil. When you are messaging us, be civil. This one, right, it says, good day to you both in the studio. The topic is quite interesting. Cameroon is a beautiful country and a paradise, but ruled by bad people who cares more about their interests rather than the interests of the citizens. After over 60 plus Cameronians can't be proud of any modern roads. Instead, the roads are all dead traps, poor electricity supplies, health sector is a mess, and we can only trust the health sector. If we stop hearing that either the Speaker of the National Assembly has flown abroad for treatment or the President of the Senate. We pray that opposition should come for a coalition and kick out the CPGM regime. Lionel writing from Boya, the town of legendary hospitality. Machi writes, Happy Sunday, Jarvis. Government practicing school, Ndongo Moliko Boya, and the government nursery school share boundaries with a heap of debt. 3 out of 4 pupils are IDPs. Jarvis, is a big problem. How does MTN build fence in other schools? Let them hear us if they are hearing. Water, light, roads. Thank you, Machi. I will come back to your message. Hello, 5F is calling us from Yaoundé to participate in the course of the program. 5F is a militant of the Cameronians movement and an undersecretary for communication. 5F is Cameroon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jarvis. Good afternoon to all those who are watching us right now. I hope the network or the sound quality is okay.
It's okay.
All right. I think it's my pleasure, especially given that we are on day 2 of the National Convention, which we want to send special thanks to my media prime for having been taking the whole time, especially in the House of Commons program, to actually give the population the minute-by-minute updates, in terms of the happenings here shortly after we've had troubles with the government, giving us clearance to get our event started yesterday earlier. I would tell you that surprisingly, we had to start a little bit around 9 p.m. That took us right up till morning. And as I tell you now, we have not been able to leave here. We just entered day 2, and we are ongoing to make sure that we tell the regime that CRM means business, and I mean business, so to say.
5F is bad road, epileptic network of electricity, as well as poor healthcare sector. Year in, year out, billions are being voted as budget. Where does the money go to?
That is a very good question. I will tell you simple that the money goes into private pockets. I repeat, the money goes into private pockets, and the powers that be and those who validate those monies can clearly tell us exactly the chain of reactions and the chain of connection to which those monies disappear over time. We understand that every year you hear that the budget has been increased. People go to the National Assembly and sing songs of pocketing monies. At the end, you don't see any feedback. I would remind you that even before the final budget was voted, this last session of the National Assembly and the Senate, you will remember that Honorable Cabral equally took the center stage, holding them hostage for bringing forth the finance bill and the finance budget to be cleared less than 15 days to the end of the session, which is not what the law provides, so to say. So with just few days, barely a week or so, you know, it became very worrisome on his part, which he took the center stage, disrupting communication in the National Assembly, which took some time, all the same, before it was restored. But his message had been passed. So I would tell you that we have devious contractors, we have devious ministers, we have devious directors, we have devious control engineers, we have devious public contract officials. In fact, everything is D. And that's why you will not see anyone going to prison now. You will not see the route being executed. You will see the quality of the route being of doubtful quality. I would tell you, Jarvis, you understand, sometimes I told you that, can you imagine that a road maintenance in Munya is done using a gravel?
Yes, the major road linking the axis linking right up to Nigeria. We're talking about the road at Munya taking right up to Manfe and Nigeria.
Yeah, so you could imagine that if we were in a serious country that's not kangaroo, just the contractors who carried on that job and those who came and received the certifying it as job has been done, having been done, all are supposed to be in Kondengi. But I'll tell you that the matter has just come and gone. The road has gotten worse than it was before. And these are the kind of things we take a look at. Now look at the road network. If you take, say, Mutengene and Douala, the number of potholes you find. Now look at it ironically, that few meters to the new toll gate or the old toll gate are collecting money when the road network there has a problem. I mean, where they are currently collecting money now, the road network there is a call for concern. Are these not devils in broad daylight? And again, just few meters after them, you have a modernized toll gate that has been put under contract for 18 years. You could imagine 18 years for whosoever is concerned to reap money from Cameronians in a harsh manner for 18 years before handing it over. You could imagine the consequences that will cause. Now, the toll gate as a money-making machine, you know, computerized as they say, they've been able to get the road there very okay. But as you leave from there, you start getting bumpy, undulating nature of the road that takes you right up to Douala. So someone somewhere is not serious. Someone somewhere is acting as a stranger here. The same situation takes on with the medical facility we have here. I will remind you that we have quite a handful of medical centers around that are taking for concern. Go to Muyoka Health District. Go to Munyengem Health Unit. Now, go even to areas like Kokobuma. Go to areas like Nguti. You realize that you could boast of, if you go to Bangem, for example, we have just one medical doctor. I repeat, Bangem that is talking about a district hospital, verify. As a journalist, they have just one medical doctor to take care of a population of over 15,000 persons in that area. Is this not witchcraft in broad daylight? Now, they will tell you, doctors can do it every day. Why can they not deploy doctors there? Now, why can they not deploy senior officials and specialists?
But fire this. So that the argument there that could be because of insecurity, as far as the areas you have made mention is concerned, they could base their mind on insecurity.
No. I understand your point, but they are not serious human beings. What is the DO doing with over 15 bodyguards? What is the divisional officer doing with over 15 bodyguards? If that divisional officer can be living in a military barracks, why don't you get 4, 5, 6 doctors? Let them also stay in the military barracks and attend to people. Why can the doctors not also go on escort, military convoy escort, to take them in and out of the area of work as the Jews enjoy that military largesse? I will tell you, we are in a kangaroo system that the Jews have bodyguards more than ministers. I will tell the Prime Minister has a single bodyguard who is having what they call a PA, that is a pistol, a shotgun. But now the Jews in these areas will move with 15, 20 bodyguards well armed to the teeth. And you start asking yourself, do we have what we call placement of priorities or misplacement of priorities? All the situations we are discussing today on air are what we call misplacement of priorities. We would prefer to pamper those who embezzled billions of francs CFA, and we prefer to catch only those we suspect of probably being a danger to the government, and we track them equally as embezzlers, even if they are actually embezzled. Because if you want to follow the embezzlement as per se, then we are supposed to construct a new prison. Remember, Douala has a new prison at the outskirts of Douala, which is different from the new Bell prison.
But that one at the outskirts, I don't know where you're talking about. Is it not the digital center?
No, it's it's not at the DDR center, it's at the outskirts towards Dayam.
Okay.
And that new prison is supposed to accommodate all government officers. I mean, all those who manage government budget, because they are guilty in embezzlement in one way or the other. How do you explain to me that in the modern time now, we are still battling with a stretch of road, calling for concern between Bikoko Junction, getting right there to Bonaberi, that harbors 3 regions. I mean, 3 regions. That is northwest, west, and southwest. Now imagine that road gets cut off, or there's a problem. You will discover that it means people cannot go to another region because of a major road. But we have all it takes to put in place other shortcuts, like from Bonabusadi, to cut a road across there that it could take you over to Mbanga, without you coming right over to Ovuri Bridge, crossing and going right over to Bikoko Junction. Now, these are priorities that we have set as Cameronians movement persons. The only option is for the Yaoundé regime to quit, so that we can come now in place with our road network, with our network of our ambitions to change the country, so that we can be able to put these things in place. It is a call for concern. Do you know that the hospital in Womb is calling for concern? Let me take you over to Ako, where you could barely crowd the hospital beds, and the mattresses are flat as the back of a lizard. Now, yet patients sleep on it, and you will not find a single medical doctor in the hospital in Furawa. Do we really look serious? Before the crisis, we could boast of only one medical doctor before 2016 in Furawa. But that doctor is said to have equally gone abroad, because he said the working conditions were not good enough. And when he went abroad, that particular hospital, this hospital in Furawa, stayed for over 6 years without a single medical doctor. Do you think this is serious? Something is definitely wrong somewhere. Do we think that the crime road network, talking about poor health facilities, and all whatnot, are all characteristics of a failed regime that has expired for over 41 years, yet some persons will take the bull by the horn and take the monster courage from the devil to celebrate an achievement that is not even worth achieving.
Hi, Elvis Tayong. My question now to you is, before I take on some messages, my question now to you is, with all these, what is the CRM proposing as a way out? Because we are talking about epileptic electricity across the nation, talking about also bad roads and also infrastructural issues, hospitals issues. What is the CRM promising?
The CRM is given a promise that can only be executed by CRM. Because when you give the proposals, the government base, they listen to it, and at the end, they do what they think they can do, which keeps us where we are today. An alternative source of energy. I repeat, alternative source of energy. If you look at it, that we were supposed to put in place extraordinary solar plants that can power an entire town, which means if you come to Bonaberi, we were supposed to have put in place an alternative power plant, which means a solar plate that could take half a hectare, for example, that is meant only to take care of the power supply of areas in Bonaberi. You go to another area, you do the same. By so doing, you will be solving that problem of power shortage. Besides that, I would tell you that the Memveli and all the other dams is a sham. I repeat, it's a total sham and disgrace. Those whosoever broke the grammar and they say they have a number of dams, what happens to them? Money has been injected into it. But if we are not seeing the results of the money, up till now, dam projects, over 5 of them, that were spoken over 10 years ago, and are still not solving the problem of power failure, it means that the monies must have been swindled, or it was a poorly executed project. So we are going to put in place people that matter, who can put up projects that are visible, that if you go to Mentumpo, you go to the waterfall, for example, in Muyuka, you go over to Abbey Fall. These are natural waterfalls that you will not spend the hundreds of billions of francs that these persons keep blowing the grammar every day, swindling the budget, and yet the feedback on the ground is not moving. If we take a look at revamping this and putting in place the appropriate engineers and curbing corruption at the level of getting these dams to function, it will go a long way to curb.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fai Elvis Tayong.
All right. Thanks very much. It's my pleasure as we're watching from the conference hall here.
We hope that in the nearest future we'll be able to have the opportunity to talk to your presidential flag bearer after the convention as to what is the way forward.
All right. Obviously, we would make arrangements for that, and you'll definitely get him one-on-one these days ahead.
Thank you very much, Fai Elvis Tayong.
Thank you.
Happy convention. That was Fai Elvis Tayong calling us to give his take. He was supposed to be in on this program, unfortunately, the convention. Let me read this message again from Ndongo. It's a very concerned message. Happy Sunday, Jarvis. Government practicing school Ndongo, Moliku Boya, and the government nursing school share boundaries with a heap of debt. 3 out of 4 people are IDPs. Jarvis, it is a very big problem. How does the MTN build fences in other schools? Let them hear us if they are hearing. Water, light, roads are much problems. Food gets stuck in the fridge are all spoiled, and because of light issues. Gadget burns concerning parents is a concern parents from Dongo Machi, right? This other right, he says good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis and Mr. Nick. Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. Mr. Nick was talking about political parties to come together in order to win against the ruling party. With the electoral system in Cameroon, even 320 parties cannot win against the CPDM. So Clement writing from Yaoundé. Writing from Yaoundé. This one right, it says, good afternoon, sir. I think our route in Cameroon are dead traps. We should praise our drivers for plying this route. The stretch of from Bikoko to Mbanga is a nightmare, and that is coming also from an anonymous sender. Please, if you are writing us, let us know where you are writing us from. And this other right, it says happy Sunday to you guys in the studio. Good morning to you in the studio. Let's take on this call. Stephen, hello, good morning and happy Sunday. Hello. Yes, we are getting you.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, good afternoon. Yes. Yes. Yes, Banekeno. Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes. Minister,
okay. Okay. Very well. He was talking there in Limbum, and also let me take on this message. This message, right? It says, "Good morning to you. Good morning to you all in the house, and a glorious Sunday to you all. As for the billions being voted every year, we only hear the amount voted, but projects haven't realized. Those ministers at the top are the ones exploiting the state budget for their private use." By great man alias Seth Edwin. Great man. Please, if you are sending us a message, be diplomatic. There are some messages that I don't read because of the fact that the language is kind of very harsh, and so if I don't read your message, just be rest assured that it's due to that aspect of the harsh word used as far as this is concerned. Hello, good afternoon. I am ex-Destro, located in Bamenda. Corruption is a problem in Cameroon because the government is not doing the work properly well. Due to the corruption and violence, we no longer have peace. We no longer have peace, good road and electricity. This one is coming from Bamenda. Benik, so where do we go from here as far as this is concerned? You say it's going to the hands of private individual, but so even if it's going to the hands of private individual, what can we do to ameliorate the situation? Somebody just said, you talked about the fact that political parties to come together, and that even if 320 political parties come together, they will not be able to win the election.
There will be some meaningful changes. There will be some impact, even though it will be difficult to win the election because of the kind of electoral laws we have. But at least if they come together, they can maybe add some steam to the ruling party in place for some changes to be made. I think the electoral laws we have today did not just come from air. It is a progression from somewhere. The SDF fought a lot for a lot of changes, and we expect other political parties to come and then fight their own, so that tomorrow there should be changes. That's how a nation is built. A nation is not just built from the blues. We have to go through this kind of tribulations in the hands of this kind of leaders. I always say that most of our leaders are hunters, they are not farmers. We expect to have in a new Cameroon leaders that will have the farmer's mindset, because the mentality of a farmer is, one of it is patience. You plant and you wait, you water, you wait for it to grow before you harvest. But the mentality of a hunter is different. The hunter just shoots and kill and then eats.
Hello?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
That's what ministers are doing.
Yeah, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Mutenge. This Mr. Choa Clinton.
Yeah, Mr. Clinton. Hi, Cham.
No, it's good.
So what is the problem you are facing in that municipality? We know that your mayor has been doing quite a good job, Mesoso.
No, I just actually, when we look at the situation that is happening in the country, okay?
Yes.
We discover that we see the roads which are really bad. They are really dilapidated, and we are facing a lot of difficulties in terms of transportation. We live in Cameroon, and it seems as if our roads are like a kind of farm to market road, which are for over more than how many years which we are actually experiencing transportation. It's really been a very difficult situation, you know. So
I'm getting you.
So we are saying that when it comes to bad roads,
yes,
it's a problem. We need the size of the road. Under normal circumstances, the road is supposed to have about 18 steps just for one pathway, maybe into a city or out of a city.
Yeah.
Yeah. And surely again, we need to make sure that construction of road is not a problem, or maybe just building, renovating the road is not a problem. We need to start constructing roads that can take us for a longer period of time, meaning that we need to dig the road at least 4 feet deep, using good materials like the gravel which we are using.
Yes.
And then we arrange the road such that the heavy vehicles like the Caterpillar carry a lot of heavy equipment and other things is going to help us to have good accessible network of roads. Now, the problem also that we have is that when we look at the construction of roads, we discover that when they are constructing a main highway road,
yes,
and there are no alternative roads which are actually supposed to lead maybe the people out of, maybe for example Boya, leaving Boya, going to Limbe, or going to Tiko, or going to Douala.
Yeah.
We don't have alternative roads which are supposed to be linking these cities together, while the main roads are under construction, and that put the citizens and most of the drivers into a kind of chaotic situation, which is unacceptable. So before road construction has been taking place, much of the problem which we have is just as a result of the fact that we should try to first of all have alternative roads,
yeah,
which should be there, and then the main highway now can be constructed. While they are carrying on the construction, the alternative road will be used as either entry or exit into any city. And then when you look at even the citizens, those who are pedestrians who are moving on the highway, you discover that what happens? They have to be trying to cross on the other side.
Yeah.
And then we don't have any, maybe like a kind of, let me just say, like flyover, something that
for pedestrians to cross without interfering with the road.
Without interfering in the road, and those are kind of problems that lead to accidents. People are carried to hospitals.
Because we have this in other countries, like when you go to Kenya, most of the roads are the pedestrians to cross is a flyover. You cross, especially the highway, like the Douala Road, the Bonaberi Road. Most pedestrians were supposed to be using, but the flyover.
Yeah, that's what we are saying, Jeff. That's what we are saying, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis. So we are saying that these are some of the things that we suffer a lot from the country. And if we even go, we look at some of the situation. Our streets are not even the best. We don't have streets, we have quarters. And you know, sometimes you can be embarrassed. Somebody traveling out of the country, you'll find yourself that they might be asking you what street do you live in, and you're saying you live in Quata. Somebody can even look and laugh at you.
No, you direct the person now. You come when you come to that junction, you go to the left, you there's a green gate, you pass, you take the bike to join, drop me beside the tap that's not flowing.
No, that's very funny. Now look at the kind of description you're giving to me. That's what I'm planning, right?
No, that's how we describe our gate. If you ask me, for example, Jarvis, where do you live?
We have a
that's
whole
the only
ministry of
description I can tell you. I cannot tell you house number this, street number this.
We have a whole ministry of town planning.
No, I understand perfectly. Then I also see, we have talked about road, we also talked about the electricity. Electricity is it's very bad, too bad. You know, it's a worst of situation. Because when we look at electricity, we discover that there are some investment that cannot be encouraged or even convince investors to come into Cameroon because they don't have enough electricity to be able to carry out their heavy investments. And so if we are supposed to go out of this kind of system where we find ourselves, electricity is one of the main components to be able to strengthen a country's economic development in all aspects. And you see people having a lot of losses in businesses, a lot of home appliances being destroyed. We have a lot of companies' production being shut down, and that causes a lot of economic activity malfunction.
Okay, we are out of time. We hope that next week we'll continue the debate. We are out of time.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me, Mr. Tah Mai Jarvis.
Thank you too for your time and your contribution in building our beloved nation, Cameroon.
Okay, thank you very much.
We are out of time. We have just 1 minute to go. As far as the studio time is concerned, let me just briefly take on some of those who have been able to send us their message. Good day, Mr. Jarvis. We have but footpath in Cameroon, not roads. What is in Boya? Once you can take 2 hours from my 16 to support because of traffic congestion. And that's it. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. This one says, does the leader ever watch the TV and listen to the roads to hear the cry of Cameronians? Because I don't understand how people can be complaining day in, day out, and they don't even pay attention, even blink to make a change. It is really bad, Mr. Jarvis. Everything is bad. Price is going up. Things getting scarce. Government people stealing from poor citizens. Benedict writing from Yaoundé. Nick Ano, we are out of time. Before we go, your last word.
Yeah, my last word is just that an emergent Cameroon cannot come from the current leadership we have. We are just praying and hoping that come 2025 there should be a leadership change, because the current leadership change has failed us, has expired, and we expect that come 2025 new people should come into place. Even if it is new people from the ruling party, at least we should see new people, and that there will be new impetus when you have new people, because they will come with their own ideology and so on and so forth. So we don't expect change must not just be like an opposition party, of which it is still good, but we expect change to start within the ruling party, not just this issue of making the ruling party to be like an ancient of days and kind of mentality where people are in particular position and they cannot move until maybe that take them away.
Okay.
Which is not good for a nation like that.
Thank you very much for coming. Afternoon to you in the studio. The CPDM regime has failed us, but by the grace of God, everything will be okay. This is okay. Mr. Don writing from K-Town, Kumba. This other right, he says, thank you very much. If I don't read your message, it's because it is censored. This one say hi. hi to you. We are out of time. Those of you who took out time to participate, thank you very much. I want to wish you a very special happy Sunday to you, Mr. Nyam Robert from the United States of America, as well as the wife, Madame Joan. And also I want to wish happy Sunday to you, Bonka Desil. Bonka Desil, happy Sunday to you. And also happy Sunday to you, Rita Tamanjong. Happy Sunday to you. Those of you watching us, this program comes every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30. Rebroadcast on Sunday 10:30 p.m. To 10:30 p.m. and also you can follow us on Facebook, My Media Prime BT Media Group on Facebook, and also you can be part of our program by sending us your number. We'll include you into the WhatsApp group where we have topic that is of your interest. You can participate. We want to apologize for not having all of our guests here in the studio. Ms. Professor Mark Akumbom, the 3 minutes to the program, indicated that he had problem with his car, so he was not going to make it, and also because of issues of some other issues stopped Diwun from getting to the studio on time. He could not get on time because he had some challenge getting his way to the studio, I'm sure because of the situation of traffic. And also one of our guests too also was supposed to be here just at the nick of time, just made sure that he is not going to make it. However, because of health condition, we plan the program and sometimes the program doesn't go as planned. Until we meet again, no matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And what should matter for you is that you should stay out of trouble. My name is Tah Mai Jarvis from Cameroon's commercial capital, Douala. Fengudon Bange. I want to thank you, Desmond and Chair Romanus, and also Alan from the broadcasting studio. Bye-bye.